Over the past year, a subtle yet profound shift has rattled the foundations of technology and business. In the minds of many, there was an expectation, one nurtured by decades of relentless innovation, that the future would simply arrive at our doorstep, fully formed and stable. Instead, what we have witnessed is an era of half-starts and halting progress, of wondrous innovations that failed to match their initial hype, and of slower than anticipated adoptions that have caught more than a few market analysts by surprise. We have also seen new frontiers opening up, from artificial intelligence to blockchain finance, and the constant maneuvering of industries in anticipation of political changes looming on the horizon. This year, more than most, demands reflection. What has gone right? What has gone wrong? And what does it all mean for the year to come? This year, almost as if cued by an impatient audience, has paraded one grand technological unveiling after another. Many observers had eagerly awaited the Apple Vision Pro headset, excited by Apple's promise that it would reshape the intersection of reality and digital immersion. The industry's rumor mill churned incessantly, a device that would blend augmented reality, virtual reality, and productivity tools in a frictionless environment. Yet, upon release, the fanfare was muted. Despite the technological prowess of the Vision Pro, adoption was sluggish, hampered in part by the uncertainty in consumer minds. Do we really need this now? And the reality that many customers saw the device as a pricey solution in search of a compelling problem. While Apple's brand still carries tremendous weight, and anyone who knows me understands that I am an Apple enthusiast to the core, this particular product proved that even the mightiest can stumble when consumer sentiment and corporate vision fail to align. I feel like Tim Cook's decision to kill Apple's Titan project may have been born partly from the slow adoption of the Vision Pro and a resulting hesitancy to release yet another completely different product category. Let's face it, that would have been a risky bet. If you didn't know it before, Apple had been working on an automobile product for years and killed the project this year, moving most of that team into artificial intelligence projects that needed bolstering to get them up to speed quickly enough to release with this year's new operating systems and hardware. The Apple Vision Pro's underwhelming reception serves as a useful lens through which we can examine other technology rollouts this year. Wi-Fi 7, touted by industry players like Ubiquiti as the next leap in wireless connectivity, was supposed to transform business and consumer networking environments with vastly improved speeds and latency. Leading tech commentators predicted a swift adoption curve, expecting that Apple, known for pushing the cutting edge, would integrate Wi-Fi 7 into its latest MacBook Pro line. Instead, Apple has been curiously conservative. It embraced Wi-Fi 7 for its high-end iPhones, but neglected to include it in the recently refreshed MacBook Pros. This omission surprised many analysts who view laptop computing as a domain where stable, high-speed wireless connectivity is paramount. The reasons behind Apple's choice remain speculative. Some point to supply chain complexities, while others suspect Apple's product managers are unconvinced of Wi-Fi 7's near-term return on investment, especially when so many consumers and enterprise clients still rely on Wi-Fi 6 and 6E infrastructures. Also, to be fair, they have the excuse that one of the biggest features of Wi-Fi 7 is actually present in the 6E standard they put in the 2024 MacBook Pro line, that being the 6 GHz frequency range. That being said, however, with 40 and 96 QAM enabling blistering data transfer rates, in my opinion, the logic of the choice just isn't sound. Wi-Fi 7 on the laptop line would have made much more sense than Wi-Fi 7 on the phones. Perhaps these technological hesitations and missteps are symptomatic of the broader economic and industrial slowdowns seen across the board. Business, as an ecosystem, has felt decidedly lethargic in the past 12 months. From manufacturing to retail, from consulting services to tech giants, caution has replaced the wild optimism that often accompanied new product rollouts and capital expenditures. This isn't necessarily a national or worldwide crisis, far from it, but it's a period where companies are rethinking strategies, reevaluating costs, and considering the resilience of their supply chains. The shadows of global inflationary pressures, geopolitical uncertainty, and lingering pandemic aftereffects have all contributed to a sense that investment must be measured, not impulsive. Think about what we've experienced and why in the last year. During the pandemic years, we had several emergency measures that had to be taken, costly measures, not only in the moment, but also over the long term. The economic ecosystem is now grappling with the aftershocks of those emergency interventions. The combination of stimulus injections, where the government effectively instructed the Federal Reserve to print money to maintain liquidity and confidence in the economy, has created a delayed but significant drag on both currency valuation and corporate decision-making. Business owners received PPP grants in the form of forgivable loans, essentially another instance of money conjured out of thin air, and similarly, EIDL loans were dispersed widely, further saturating the market with newly printed capital. Initially, these measures were necessary to keep the economy's head above water during the most perilous months of the pandemic. Yet the inevitable cost of such financial engineering has now come due. The fundamental drawback of the Fed printing money to stave off immediate crisis is that it sets the stage for currency devaluation and thus inflation, though with a delayed fuse. Over the last several years, as the real economy caught up with the flood of newly created funds, we experienced roughly a 20% inflationary surge. While it took time for this reality to fully manifest, people have recently begun to feel its bite. Household budgets are strained and business purchasing power has eroded. Concurrently, the Small Business Administration has started requiring repayment for some of these COVID-era loans. With these loan obligations coming due, businesses find themselves squeezed from both ends. Their costs for goods and services have risen dramatically due to inflation, and their monthly outlays must now include loan repayments. This 1-2 punch is prompting widespread caution, reducing discretionary spending, and increasing hesitancy in hiring. The cumulative result is a slower, more tentative market across all sectors, where both consumers and businesses approach the future with a wary eye. Nowhere was the intersection of business and cultural expression more visible this year than in the entertainment industry. The strikes, those halting, impassioned standoffs between studios, production companies, writers, and actors, rippled beyond Hollywood's borders into cities where film, television, and streaming content are made. These strikes tested the assumptions about how content is produced, who benefits from residuals in a streaming-dominated era, and what the long-term shape of creative industries might be. The short-term effects were immediate and painful. Productions halted midstream, entire crews were left in limbo, and release calendars scrambled. But longer-term consequences loom as well, potentially redefining compensation models for creative talent and shifting the power dynamics between content producers and the massive conglomerates that distribute their work. Beyond entertainment, the corporate landscape has also been wrestling with profound structural changes. Artificial intelligence companies, in particular, have had a banner year. While many industries slowed, firms specializing in large language models, generative AI, predictive analytics, and automated decision-making found themselves inundated with interest. AI firms have not been immune to the year's economic caution, but they've fared better than most, capturing imaginations and venture capital, demonstrating how adaptable and multifaceted these technologies can be. In parallel, cryptocurrencies and blockchain technologies have enjoyed a modest resurgence. After a previous year marred by price crashes, regulatory battles, and shaken investor confidence, this year has been marked by a quieter but more solid recalibration. Blockchain companies focused less on hype and more on use cases, governance structures, and compliance. Central bank digital currencies have quietly inched forward in various jurisdictions, and enterprise blockchains have begun to deliver on more tangible, if still limited, promises of efficiency and transparency. Yet, what if these two worlds, AI and blockchain, were to truly merge in a meaningful way? As we consider the future, one cannot help but ponder the scenario of an ambitious firm connecting a fully customized artificial intelligence system trained on massive economic data sets with an algorithmically managed blockchain-based currency. Imagine a self-improving AI agent tasked with maximizing wealth, optimizing trades, and negotiating contracts, all governed on-chain. The implications are both thrilling and alarming. Wealth could be generated or lost at digital speeds beyond human comprehension, and market equilibria might shift in ways no one can currently predict. This hypothetical scenario raises questions about regulation, ethics, and the nature of human oversight in a world where non-human entities could control capital flows of staggering proportions. In a parallel dimension of what-if scenarios, the business landscape bristles with potential political shifts that could alter entire industries. Consider the recently floated proposition, admittedly controversial, of Elon Musk heading a Department of Efficiency, as rumored to be something Donald Trump might attempt if he secures another presidency. While this may sound like the stuff of political satire, it is worth considering what such a development might mean if taken seriously. Musk has demonstrated an appetite for radical innovation, cost-cutting, and re-engineering entire sectors of industry. Injecting that ethos into governmental administration could upend the regulatory and operational landscape for everything from automotive manufacturing to aerospace, from energy production to global logistics. Musk's approach might accelerate public-private partnerships, encourage massive investments in infrastructure, possibly digital infrastructure like 5G and Wi-Fi 7, and transform how businesses operate under a governance model more aligned with agile, technology-driven thinking. At the same time, such a shift would likely face resistance from entrenched interests, bureaucratic inertia, and even legal constraints. Further complicating this speculative tapestry is the notion that Robert F. Kennedy Jr. might helm the Department of Health and Human Services, HHS. RFK Jr., known for his maverick stances on various health and environmental issues, could bring sweeping changes to health policy, pharmaceutical regulation, medical research funding, and the approach to public health crises. Were such leadership to materialize, industries that intersect with healthcare, biotech firms, insurance companies, telemedicine platforms, and digital health startups would find themselves navigating new regulatory terrains. The result could be both unsettling and liberating. Tighter scrutiny of pharmaceutical pricing and medical device approvals might challenge legacy incumbents, while streamlining certain aspects of healthcare delivery could open niches for innovative solutions. The digital health sector, already benefiting from telehealth expansions and AI-driven diagnostics, might find fertile ground in an HHS department keen on rethinking what healthcare means for a nation facing rising costs and persistent health disparities. Economic prospects will hinge on how these various pieces fit together. The business world is an ecosystem of dependencies and opportunities. In manufacturing, any moves by a future Department of Efficiency could favor companies well-positioned to leverage automation, robotics, and AI to streamline production and reduce costs. Industries that fail to adapt to a fast-moving regulatory environment and ever-changing global trade pressures may find themselves squeezed out of the market. Meanwhile, healthcare technology companies could thrive under HHS policies that favor innovation and transparent pricing. telehealth platforms, AI-based diagnostic systems, and wearable health monitor manufacturers would likely see surges in demand if public health policy encourages preventive medicine, early diagnosis, and remote patient monitoring. Real estate developers, too, might be affected as cities adjust to new norms, perhaps shifting healthcare facilities into community hubs, redesigning offices to align with new government standards of efficiency, or even catering to entertainment sectors reconfigured by the strike's long-term effects on production cycles. Consider the energy sector as well, given the year's evolving narrative. With renewed emphasis on sustainability, clean energy solutions, and microgrids equipped with next-gen Wi-Fi 7, enabled IoT devices could gain traction. The slow adoption of certain tech standards by major players this year may set the stage for a sudden leap in capability if governmental nudges and private investments align. Should the efficiency ethos championed by a hypothetical Musk-led department trickle down into energy policies, expect a surge in interest towards more resilient, adaptive, and data-driven power distribution systems. Utility companies that embrace these shifts can improve grid reliability, reduce operational costs, and meet environmental benchmarks more easily, opening new revenue streams and business models. Another sector bound to experience a shift is logistics and transportation. Autonomous trucking, advanced route optimization, and AI-driven inventory management stand to benefit if economic policies and federal regulations become more innovation-friendly. If companies anticipate that the government, under new leadership, would remove certain red tapes to ensure efficiency, as the rumor suggests, we might see a renaissance in supply chain management tools, blockchain tracking systems for goods verification, and widespread adoption of robotics in warehouses. If Apple and other tech giants finally embrace the next standards of connectivity, the latency and bandwidth improvements could supercharge these changes, allowing logistics companies to react in near real time to market conditions, weather disruptions, and sudden fluctuations in consumer demand. For industries that supply consumer goods, these transformations could trickle down in tangible ways. The convergence of stable blockchain-based currencies, AI-driven retail algorithms, and superfast connectivity could pave the way for dynamic pricing systems, personalized offers, and frictionless commerce. This has the potential to revitalize consumer spending if it's matched with improvements in wage growth and job availability. The current year's slow business environment may give way to a phase of careful but deliberate investment as companies adapt their offerings. If, for instance, a future political leadership encourages a more locally driven production environment in an attempt to foster resilience and reduce dependency on global supply chains, smaller manufacturers and artisanal producers might discover new life and profitability by leveraging digital marketplaces enhanced by AI and blockchain solutions. The entertainment sector, after shaking off the immediate fallout of the strikes, might evolve into a more balanced ecosystem. Emerging business models could feature platforms that offer transparent revenue sharing via blockchain smart contracts, ensuring that actors, writers, and technical staff receive fair compensation for streaming royalties. If studios and content creators embrace AI tools for script analysis, audience prediction, and production budgeting, they might find more stable ground. Such tools could mitigate the uncertainty of greenlighting expensive projects by providing data-driven insights. The tension between creativity and bottom-line efficiency remains unresolved, but careful application of technology might create a healthier equilibrium in which creators are fairly compensated and studios reduce their risk, culminating in a more robust entertainment landscape that can withstand external shocks. When we consider a future where a few keystone innovations are set free, AI deeply integrated into business decision-making, blockchain currencies stabilizing and enabling new forms of capital exchange, health regulations that encourage preventive care and transparent pricing, and a department focused on efficiency, it's clear that opportunities will emerge. Yes, the trials of this year cannot be minimized. The slow adoption of the Apple Vision Pro suggests that market appetite and cutting-edge innovation do not always converge when we want them to. the measured approach to Wi-Fi 7 suggests that even revered industry leaders like Apple can err on the side of caution. The entertainment strikes demonstrate that cultural industries, like any sector, must periodically renegotiate their social contracts. Yet each of these challenges sows the seeds of future growth. There may also be unanticipated beneficiaries. Small and mid-sized businesses, often overshadowed by multinational giants, could seize opportunities born out of regulatory shifts and new consumer habits. The year's cautious climate has reminded investors and entrepreneurs that well-calculated moves, grounded in genuine market needs, can outlast flashy, ill-considered ventures. Regions that specialize in manufacturing high-tech components for connectivity solutions like Wi-Fi 7 routers may become supply chain hubs if the technology finally catches on. Healthcare startups focusing on personalized medicine, remote diagnostics, and AI-driven predictive care could thrive under a reimagined HHS leadership that promotes innovation over bureaucratic stasis. Companies at the intersection of AI and blockchain, while currently rare, might become the venture capital darlings of tomorrow, riding the wave of interest in autonomous wealth generation and stable digital currencies. Let us not ignore the talent dimension in all these changes. Skilled labor capable of integrating these new technologies, managing advanced AI-driven processes, and navigating complex regulatory environments will be in higher demand than ever. Educational institutions, training academies, and professional development firms can find major new revenue streams by aligning their curricula with the projected needs of the economy. Rapid credentialing, continuous professional education, and cross-disciplinary skill building could become integral parts of corporate strategy. After all, innovation is meaningless without humans who know how to guide it, maintain it, and continually improve upon it. As we move deeper into these ruminations, it's essential to remember that the world rarely changes in a linear or predictable fashion. The next 12 months may introduce entirely new technologies that overshadow the cautious steps taken this year. Regulatory landscapes could pivot overnight, influenced by electoral outcomes, geopolitical pressures, or global health emergencies. Novel AI models could outclass the current generation, making them appear rudimentary in hindsight. Startups that today seem like long shots could become the market leaders of tomorrow, riding cultural and policy shifts we can barely imagine at present. Yet in this complexity lies hope. With every challenge, be it a failed product rollout, a technology standard slow to be adopted, a labor strike that disrupts business as usual, comes the chance to learn, adapt, and move forward more intelligently. The business ecosystem is remarkably resilient. When faced with adversity, capable entrepreneurs and executives do not simply resign themselves to fate, they reallocate resources, pivot strategies, and innovate new solutions. If the current year has shown us anything, it's that the pace of change is relentless and often surprising. But this does not mean we are helpless. Far from it. Leaders who stay informed, agile, and engaged in creative problem-solving will find opportunities amidst the uncertainties. One particular area ripe for opportunity is the realm of hybrid work solutions and virtual collaboration. Even though the Apple Vision Pro did not immediately capture consumer interest, the concept of mixed reality environments remains promising for enterprise applications. Remote collaboration, international negotiations, and global team building stand to benefit from immersive technology that reduces travel costs and time zone constraints. As corporations experiment with these tools, some may stumble, but others will find an alchemical mix that enables efficient, meaningful global cooperation. Firms that master this balance will attract top talent, increase productivity, and scale their operations without being hindered by geography. Consider also the subtle but persistent emphasis on sustainability and responsible stewardship. This year, while overshadowed by slower business growth, has still seen steady increments in green initiatives. ESG, environmental, social, and governance, compliance, and consumer interest in ethically sourced products. As governmental policies shift, potentially under a Musk-inspired efficiency department that might well include ecological efficiency metrics, companies that have already invested in green tech and sustainable supply chains could see their investments pay off. Should the political environment favor streamlined paths for renewable energy deployments and carbon capture technologies, entire markets in sustainable infrastructure, advanced battery manufacturing, and recycling systems may open wide. To contemplate RFK Jr. at HHS again, this scenario, though unconventional, might prioritize research into diseases previously ignored, promote digital health platforms that deliver equitable care, and support integrative medicine initiatives that merge conventional treatments with holistic approaches. Companies prepared to offer these services, or medical device manufacturers ready to meet new regulatory standards for transparency, could thrive. This, in turn, could influence insurance models, hospital construction, pharmaceuticals, and even medical tourism. The ripple effects would not be confined to healthcare, but would extend into legal services, data analytics for patient outcomes, and even hospitality, as medical conferences and wellness retreats adapt to new philosophies in healthcare management. As for AI-driven currency and blockchain wealth generation, this frontier remains speculative, but is undoubtedly intriguing. Should a forward-looking firm succeed in developing a robust AI that operates seamlessly within blockchain ecosystems, one could imagine a new class of financial products emerging. These might include AI-powered hedge funds accessible via decentralized finance, DeFi platforms, algorithmically managed lending protocols that adjust interest rates dynamically based on market analysis, or even stablecoins stabilized not by human-defined baskets of assets, but by continuously learning AI agents. This year's relatively cautious business climate might turn out to have been the calm before an explosion of innovation in this space. Early adopters and careful regulators working hand in hand could define standards that make such systems beneficial rather than chaotic. Ultimately, as we stand at the cusp of another cycle of technological announcements, political surprises, and global economic adjustments, the lesson of the past year resonates strongly. We must remain both critical and hopeful. Critical in that we should not accept hype at face value, nor assume that every newly unveiled gadget or standard will achieve instantaneous success. Hopeful in that even slow adoption, even halting political negotiations, even contentious strikes can catalyze the kind of introspection and reorganization that leads to better, more sustainable business models. The final note should be an optimistic one. Though this has been a challenging year, it has also clarified what matters and where opportunities lie. The careful observer can spot multiple channels for growth. Specialized consulting services for companies navigating new efficiency mandates, digital health platforms anticipating forward-thinking HHS policies, or startups bridging AI analytics with blockchain finance. As entertainment recovers and reinvents itself, there will be new roles, new distribution models, and untapped audiences waiting. The global stage is set for those who can synthesize the lessons of this year with the tools of tomorrow. A slow year in business is not necessarily a lost year. It can be a year of reflection, planning, and quiet innovation. Similarly, a rocky product introduction or a standards war that doesn't meet expectations may only delay, not deny, the eventual benefits of new technologies. The future remains unwritten and thus infinitely malleable. Stepping back, the narrative is one of cautious optimism. We have learned that complexity demands nuance. We have seen that technological marvels are not guaranteed instant acceptance, that economic slowdowns can spur strategic thinking, that labor disputes can force necessary corrections in long-established revenue models. We have also learned that political shifts, however unusual, have the potential to accelerate or decelerate entire industries. By embracing uncertainty and preparing strategically, businesses can emerge stronger, more resilient, and better equipped to serve the evolving needs of their customers and communities. In the end, this year of change in technology and business has underscored a simple yet profound truth. Transformation is not linear, nor is it always comfortable. Yet it is from this very discomfort that innovation arises. As we look ahead, we do so with an informed perspective. Opportunities abound for those who read the signs, adapt to new paradigms, and dare to think beyond the next quarter's earnings. Although some doors have closed this year, countless more stand ready to open. The future promises to reward those who walk forward with open minds, open eyes, and a readiness to reshape business as we know it.